Hi everyone, we're so excited. This is another Feature Friday with an amazing indie author. We're so excited. Katy Carver's here. She has written Behind the Line, which is an emotional, character-driven contemporary fiction. I am so excited that she's here. Katy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Behind the Line?
Okay, so as she said, my name's Katy. I've lived in the Pacific Northwest for basically all my life. Most of that was in Washington, minus the 6 months that I spent in Southern Oregon, which I didn't grow my webbed feet, so I had to move back to Washington. So yeah, and I've been writing since I was in middle school. I'm in my early 40s now, actually mid 40s if you want to get technical. But yeah, I've been writing. I started out writing short stories and just really enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. And then in high school, I took like creative writing and the same thing in college. And then I decided to go into law enforcement myself because I had family who were first responders. So I was like, they're like, you've got to try this. And so I wanted to become an EMT for a while, which I know is not law enforcement, but I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll try it and see if I like it. And didn't really like it. So somebody was like, hey, go into law enforcement. So I did that I was with the department for about 2 years. Really enjoyed it. I don't really want to say which department because they'll all come back and be like, hey, you shouldn't have said. Yeah. So then a few years ago, I was having some medical issues. So I had a lot of downtime. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to get into writing. So I'm going to get back into it. I'm going to start writing something I enjoy, something that kind of just chills me out for a while. So yeah, so I was doing that. I published Behind the Line, published that back in 2021. And then I have a second book out also called sLegacy. It's just a continuation of the first one. But yeah, that's kind of where it started, where my ideas came from and my storyline kind of came from was my time in law enforcement. And then more recently, I did what they call a Citizens Academy through our local sheriff's office. And that's where I met some of the people that were actually based off of some of my characters in my book. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Very well. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a crazy wild ride.
Yeah, EMT is a first responder just as important as police officers in my book. So thank you very much for everything you've done.
Thank you.
I know that there's a lot of people who can't do that job, and it takes a special person to do that job.
All right. Goodness, it's funny because a couple of the questions I had you kind of already answered. No. So the first question I had was what inspired you to start writing? And you kind of answered that one already. And then the other one I had was why did you choose to center your stories around women connected to law enforcement? So maybe you can jump into kind of that along with you being in that position as well.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to kind of get the woman's perspective from law enforcement is because women and men, they both put their pants on one leg at a time. In law enforcement, a lot of people are like, oh, women can't do it. Women are just women. They just can't do it. And at the department that I was at, we were a fairly small department. A lot of the things that I learned were from the women that were in my department. It was interesting to sit and watch and learn a lot from them. But they taught me women put their pants on one leg at a time, just like guys do. You just got to jump in and just do it and get it over with and come out on the other side, go home at the end of the day. So that's what I learned. And it was interesting. It was a lot of fun too. So I can't really complain.
That's awesome. I really like that phrase that women put their pants on one leg at a time, just like men. Like, that's amazing. I don't know why I've never thought of it like that.
I know, and a lot of people don't. And they're like, that makes a lot of sense because they do, because they think, a lot of people think, oh, well, they're women and here's 2 papers. Go ahead. Sorry, my son's going to walk past me. He's printing papers over here next to my computer. So anyway.
All good.
Welcome to the Carver household. It's a great household.
Yeah.
This is why we need to be friends, because you're going to fit right in with us.
Right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
If we don't have one kid bugging us while we're doing this, it is not going the right way. It's all good.
That means we got to check and see what they're doing.
Right?
Exactly. Especially if they're little. If they're little, you got to go see what they're doing, because if they're quiet, it ain't good.
Right?
I told you, we get it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so like you said, you've written 2 now. So Behind the Line and now Jay's Legacy. And I gotta say, I think I saw the covers on TikTok. Was it on TikTok? Or
No,
was
I
it
do
on
not have a
Instagram?
TikTok. It was probably on Instagram. Because yeah, I just jumped on the Instagram bandwagon.
I was gonna say, I've seen him somewhere.
I do not have TikTok. I mean, unless somebody else has posted them there, which may be a possibility.
Wondering if they're...
I can't do it. I don't know. It just
I'll have
doesn't.
to look, because I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I saw him, like, in the TikTok shop. Because I was like, oh, she's coming on our I'll look, and then I'll send it to you. But
Okay.
I love the covers.
Thank
I
you.
think that they're amazing.
So my first one, I had a different design for my original book that I had out, because when I first started as an indie author, I jumped in with both feet and I was like, I can do this, no problem, and I can do this all by myself, and this is great. And yeah, it was scary. I didn't realize that I had to create my own cover. I didn't realize that I had to become my own editor and my own publisher, and yeah. So I had a lot of help with my second cover, which is the cover that is currently the white cover with the blue thin blue heart, thin blue flag heart. There we go. Yeah, my first one was actually just black and white stripes with like a thin blue line in the middle of it, and it said, behind the line or behind the badge. And I was like, okay, that works great. We'll go with it. It's fine, and the print came out really, really small, and people were complaining. They're like, I can't hardly see this. And I'm like, put some glasses on, read it, you'll be fine.
I'll send you a magnifying glass.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. So and then the second one, there's a picture of a little girl on it, and she's holding a folded flag. And actually, this folded flag that you see behind me is actually the one that she's holding. It's currently in a case, but that was my grandpa's flag from his funeral when he passed away, because he was in the military, and then he became a civil engineer or something over in Spokane, or in Seattle actually. He actually was, kind of a side note here, he was actually one of the first people that was one of the engineers for the beginning of the I-5 corridor over in Seattle. So a bit of information there for you.
Cool.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting. But yeah, the picture of the little girl holding the flag, I actually took that picture. It was in the parking lot of a place that I used to work at, and the chair that she's sitting on was owned by the guy from the campground that I did my very first book signing from. So,
wow.
So just
that's awesome
for you.
I like that there's like a story behind it.
There's so much incorporated in there. It wasn't just like, oh, well, this looks cool. There's things that are fit with you, and not just the book, but with your background too. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted, was not just a boring, plain old cover. I wanted something that meant something to me, because I had put so much hard work into writing the first book. I mean, the first book took me, and not that I wrote every single day, but the first book took me almost 3 years to write.
Wow.
And that doesn't include rechanging the cover and reformatting it a million times and all that. But yeah, it took me a little bit of time. Also, on the flip side of that, I talked a little bit about the medical issues that I was having during the time that I was writing. I actually went through 5 brain surgeries during that time. Yeah, just,
So 3 years was really like 1.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So.
Because the other ones don't count.
Yeah.
I kept telling my doctors, I'm like, just leave me alone. I got to get this done. I got to get it over with. I got to get it out there. And yeah, so here we are.
Oh my gosh.
That's incredible. Wow.
See, I don't think I could write a book without brain surgery. And here you are being like Superwoman and doing it. Oh my gosh.
Well, technically I wasn't supposed to have 5 brain surgeries, and not to like toot my own horn or anything, but make it feel bad for me. But actually 3 of those brain surgeries I shouldn't have even had, but I ended up having a brain infection, because I have something called hydrocephalus, which is excess fluid on the brain. And so they went in, they put in one of my shunts. They said the one that was in there, they said it looked like somebody took it out of your head, smashed it with a hammer, and put it back in your head. I was like, oh, okay, great, awesome. So yeah, so that one's got to go. So they took that one out, and then the one that they put in was actually infected. They didn't know it, so I had to go through. I'd be in ICU for 2 weeks, so I got a lot of writing done those 2 weeks.
I'm sure.
So yeah, so and then of course the other ones were, they had to they had to take the one out and replace it, and then they had to put another one in, and they had to replace that, and it just it was
gosh. And you're writing a book all at the same time,
right? Yes, that is amazing. Wow.
So it's been a lot of fun though. I mean, yes, there's been a lot of stress, but it's been way more fun than it has been.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I've enjoyed it. Can't complain.
I don't have the patience. I mean, I'm sure like I could sit here with my phone and have my phone do it for me where I like talk, but no. Okay, well can you tell us in like 2 to 3 sentences, how would you describe Behind the Line?
A lot of people always ask me this, especially when I'm doing shows. So it is a behind the scenes look into what a law enforcement family goes through. The ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the stuff.
I like it.
With a little bit of spice, just a tiny bit. Not anything like 50 Shades of Grey. But yeah, it's got a little spice in there, so it's definitely not for the kids.
Man, that's my kind of...
Oh my goodness. Awesome. Right. Let's look at Jay's Legacy, just because that is the most current book that you've released. Okay. What inspired this particular story?
I would probably have to say the people wanting me to just add more. They just came to me and they're like, I read your first one. I want another one. I want another one. I want another one. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's do it. So I sat down, and it's like I mentioned before, I'll be honest, it's not my most favorite one, but at the time when I was writing it, I had a lot of people that were like, gimme, like, I want. I'm like, okay, I'm like, fine. I'm like, I'll do it. So I did it. And so that's kind of where it's at now. And I am actually working on a third one, which is just, again, a continuation, but it's got some of the same characters, but it will be a firefighter romance, but we're still working on it.
Awesome. Very cool.
I love it.
Can't go wrong with a good firefighter romance.
Well, my husband used to be a volunteer firefighter, so I had to add that in there. And I've got a friend who used to be a hotshot firefighter, so so I was like, we'll just add it in there. It's fine.
But can you tell me your like romance stories so I can add them into my book? Give me a couple details.
Exactly, yeah. Actually, so most of my second book, Jay's Legacy, is actually more, because a lot of people ask me, they're like, are these stories true? Are these stories true? So in my first book, I think all of the stories were, or not, the storyline was mostly made up. However, the characters are based off of real people that I know, real law enforcement people. And then the second book, the Jay's Legacy, there are a couple of actual true stories in there. Storylines are definitely true. Characters are changed a little bit, so the parts of the storyline are true. And all of the places in the second book are true places. They are real places that you can go to. They are places that either I'm going to have a book signing at, or I had a book signing for my first book and decided to go for my second book. So that's kind of why when I went to the places that I did for my book signings for my first book, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to ask them if I can make my writing into the storyline, make their places into the storyline. And it worked out. They were like, okay, they're like, sure. They're like, you can have a book signing here as long as you put our name on the line. So
how cool.
And I sense a road trip coming.
Right?
Seriously. I would love to go to one of your signings.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I have one coming up in July. It's actually a local community days. It's called Nile Valley Community Days, or Nile Valley Days. It's coming up the third weekend in July. I think it's the 19th and the 20th, or the 20th and the 21st. I don't know. I don't have my calendar in front of me right now. Yeah, but it's I always do that one, and there are a couple other local authors. There's a mystery author that is another local author, and then we've got I think there's another murder mystery author that's going to be coming in this year. But yeah, and then I do have some plans for next year in the same spot that we're having Nile Valley Days. I'm actually planning a local Pacific Northwest author signing, like a major author signing for like 20, 30 authors. So
so cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of still in the works. That's why I don't really want to talk about it a whole lot because it's still in the works. But yeah, we're excited for it. So
we like.
Well, you'll have to send us those dates.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we're really excited for it. So
I just got the Nile Valley Day information up on my computer. So Miranda, let's go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's up in the woods. It's up, it's or up in the mountains, I should say. That's actually where a lot of the places are where a lot of my writing came from, and where both Jay and Stephanie's new love interest, Tuck, from the second book, that's where they all live, supposedly. So yeah.
It's
cool.
So when me and Miranda go, you have to remember that we're the crazy fangirls who you met on a podcast.
There you go.
When we're all crazy, you know why.
It's all good. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it on.
I'll drag her out of the house myself.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Okay, in Jay's legacy, what emotional themes or journeys are at the heart of this book?
That's a good question. I don't really know.
I can't help.
That's okay. You just have to read it to find out, guys. There you go.
Yes.
We're doing it on purpose. It is intrigue.
Yeah. It was a test.
There you go.
Thanks. Well, I failed miserably. It's fine.
Nope.
Let's look at your writing process a little bit. So are you more of like a plotter or a discovery writer? Like, do you make plans of what you're going to have happen when, or do you just kind of go with the flow and have it happen as it happens?
So the first book, Behind the Badge, that was I wrote out a timeline, or not a timeline, but a outline. I did, okay, we're going to do this for this section, and this for this section, and this for this section. And the second book, I was like, screw it. I was like, we're just going to type away and see what we come up with. Yeah, that's kind of how the third one is actually coming along too. It's just, it's whatever I sit down and think about. And of course, or it's, as I'm driving down the road, I'm like, oh, I should put that in the book. That sounds really good. And then of course, by the time I get home, I'm like, what was I going to put in the book?
Record voice note.
Yeah, I do that all the time. My husband's like, he's like, what? He's like, I don't remember what you were going to put in the book. He's like, don't ask me. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Gotta love 18 years.
Thanks for helping me on my journey, honey.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A Father's Day episode, like where we talked about like our real life book boyfriends yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh,
it was funny. Yeah, I'm hoping to have that up sometime this week, but Riverside did me dirty and deleted some of my videos, so I'm trying to fix it first, but we will see. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm excited. I like watching you guys. I've got you on, we've got YouTube on our TV, and I'm like, subscribe.
Oh gosh.
I know, like, well, thank you. That's so sweet. I love that.
Okay, Katie, so
apparently.
So we talked about both books. We've talked about you as a writer. Where can we find you? Where can we find your books?
So at the moment, you can find me on Amazon, Amazon.com. I have both books up there. I will have my third one coming up. I'd like to say by the end of this month, but don't hold your breath. Yeah, because I'm trying to write, and it's the words are not coming as quickly as I thought they would. But just because I wanted to get it out there to Nile Valley Days, but it's just not happening.
One advantage of being an indie author, though.
It is very true. Yes. Yeah. That's why it took me 3 years to write my first one.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you can find me on Amazon.com. If you're in the area, the Neatchee Nile area, I believe, don't hold me to this because I don't know for sure. I believe Whistling Jack Lodge does have copies of my book, my first one. They don't have copies of my second one. But yeah, or you can just get a hold of me through Facebook or Instagram. I do more writing information on Instagram than I do on Facebook. My Facebook's a little bit more personal to me just because I've got family and friends on there that I don't see in person. So
of course.
But yeah, I do more of my writing information on Instagram, which I'm still kind of new to, so bear with me.
If I didn't have this woman with me, she does all of it. We always make jokes that I'm the wallet and she's the brains. So,
oh my god,
yeah. My best friend was like, "You need to get on Instagram. You need on," and I'm like, okay, fine. I'm like, but I'm used to Facebook, so I'm like, I've had Facebook since like 2009, and I'm like, where's my groups? Where's my chats? I don't understand. So yeah, it's been a learning experience for me.
Yeah, you'll get there.
Just find me on socials and Amazon.
We'll tag her below too, so you guys can find her.
Yep, definitely.
Yay.
So that is it. Book Mashers, make sure that you are watching all of our Feature Fridays. And if you are an indie author and you are interested in doing a Feature Friday, our link to our Google form is in our link tree that is linked below. And it's also in our Instagram bio. Otherwise, we will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much, Katie, for joining us.
Katie.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast. I've been having so much fun. So
I'm glad you had fun. We did too.
Yeah, it was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.